The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chuckie. Welcome to the Two Nerds Podcast. I am joined, as always, by that dick who believes that superheroes should register. The boy.
He's lying. I am not Team Iron's man.
Well, one of us has to be for the purposes of the intro, and it's not me because I get to say the intro.
That's right. I'm going to let the silence drag out for this one.
Do not adjust your sets. We're not talking about the movie. We are talking about Marvel Heroes. And I think part of this podcast needs to be dedicated to how this podcast came about.
Okay.
So, as you know, listener, occasionally we are bereft of shit to talk about. It's just been a slow week. And in fact, for the last month or so, you and I have come to the podcast or come to one another outside of the podcast and said, hey, what are we going to talk about this week? It's been kind of a slow news week. Has there been anything you think we could talk about? And the other one goes, I don't know, man. I've been just playing Marvel Heroes all week.
Yeah, that's the conversation has gone back and forth at least a couple times in various forms and from various ends. It's a fun video game, you guys.
Well, this week, we were lucky enough, Marvel Heroes is relevant because they are we're smack dab in the middle of their Civil War event to celebrate the Captain America Civil War movie.
Yep, everyone who's in Captain America Civil War, all the characters who happen to be in the movie get a bonus to their experience of, increasingly ramping amount, right?
Yeah, we were at 50% for the first week. Now we're at 100%. Next week, I think it goes to 150. There might be a fourth week where it goes to 200. I don't remember. But they've also got a bunch of cool stuff going on. How much of the stuff have you experienced? Because I know I've done more, so I want you to talk some.
I've done the beginning of the Captain America event where you pick a side. You pick the right side, Team Cap. Did you know, actually, complete side note, I looked it up. Apparently, throughout all 50 states, Iron Man wins when they poll.
Good God.
Team Cap or Team Iron Man. Throughout all 50 states, Iron Man wins. He wins by the most in, California, throughout the Southwest, and in the upper states that no one remembers, the Dakotas and such. Mm-hmm. And Captain America is closest to not losing in the northeastern states, but apparently across all 50 states, Iron Man is in the lead. Not for Marvel Heroes, just in general.
Right. Minor political statement, warning. That's because we live in a nation ruled by fear. End minor political statement. It's just true. News media, etc., etc.
Moving on.
This is an NPR. Welcome to Two Nerds NPR. I'm Eric, the critical thinker Chuckie, and this is my friend Forrest Johnson.
Hello. How are you?
Today we're discussing the American people and what they believe. The heart of this country seems to be comic books and the video games designed around them. Let's go to our first guest, caller, who would prefer to be called Winter. Winter's not here. We're just fucking around.
I was gonna go into
you
Winter.
know,
I was not gonna shut you down. I was gonna yes and your bit.
I appreciate that, and I kind of recognized it, but I also realized that the other 25 minutes of this podcast was gonna be us fucking doing that bit. as fun as that is.
What an awful way to roost the poor listener.
I really hope they were gonna talk about the video game. It sounds really neat, and I wanted to hear more about it, but shoot. He's been in this weird NPR bit and never came back. I really like that terminal fight.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a really fun boss fight.
Yeah, it's just a little boss rush, but you get a pal, whoever's the corresponding guy to be fighting that person, and you get achievements if you use the right guy to fight that guy, and It's just super neat. It feels really good. You know, it's fun, and you get a little special zone to go to, depending on which side you choose.
The roof of the Avengers Tower for Iron Man, and a special hideout for Cap. The only thing that's there is like a portal and like a vendor and a couple NPCs. It's very sad.
They have Agent 13 there. They have I want to say Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones, Agent 13,
and then Dagger is which is kind of fun because every time you do like a
mission for
team
them.
mission, Cloak shows up at the end
instead of being like the little portal. It's Cloak. That's actually.
It's like, sup, buddy? Let's get out of here. I would kill for them to make.
We going through the Dark Force dimension, son.
I love Cloak and Dagger. I've heard they might be getting a TV show. Super rumor millie, but.
That'd be super neat. I would like a Cloak and Dagger TV show.
I really like Cloak and Dagger. I know they were in a cartoon not too long ago. I didn't see it myself, but I saw stills from it.
I like them because they're interestingly unknown in that like all nerds seem to know who Cloak and Dagger are because nobody knows who the fuck Cloak and Dagger are.
I find that's more interesting the more I get into aspects of nerddom, the more I share them with other nerds through the internet. Characters that I thought were super obscure when I was younger, I realized that there's just sort of a gate. Not the first one, maybe not even the second one, but the third one. And once you pass that third gate into the pool of nerdosity for this particular thing...
all the people in that pool know all the things that you know.
And I'm not even farther as some people. And they're like, do you remember Clothurth? And I'm like, fuck.
Fucking like, and there are additional gates. There's all the way to the
like when they get really into the political stuff between the creators, you know. I'm like, whoa. I mean, it's interesting, but you are out of my depth.
like Batman's the only thing I have that for. I am pretty far into the gates for Batman fandom.
Yeah, like who's your favorite artist for Spider-Man? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I could find you a picture that I like.
Actually, I think that was one of the only things about Batman vs Superman I liked is they gave Bill Finger credit for creating Batman.
That's nice of them.
Well, created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger.
Bill Finger was near.
fucking Bob Kane. I hate that guy so much. Anyway,
but I've noticed, even talking with you, that I have no fucking clue about what's going on in DC. Because you'll bring up motherfuckers and I'm like, who? And we're playing Marvel Heroes and I'm seeing all these guys outside of like the fucking hell regions. I'm like, oh yeah, I know all these dudes. Yeah, these dudes are cool. Yeah, that's X-Force. That's fucking Ecstatics. Cool. I'm glad they're all here. Cool. Morph from fucking, oh fuck, what was that team called? Started with an E, I think. They were the guys who traveled between time and space. And one
was
time
that Excalibur?
No. It's like Exodus or something like that.
I'm not
Exiles. It was the Exiles.
That's an X-Man thing. Yeah. It's fucking the whole mutant sphere is just a dead zone for me.
That was Blink and Nightcrawler and Wanda's daughter from another dimension, Nocturne, and that's where Morph was. He didn't look like the TV show Morph. He was like a white dude, like pure white, like the color FFFFFF. If you're using hex code. I'm not the Red Skull. Don't worry.
Morph was a pure alien.
Morph was a perfect human. Although honestly, you draw a little Hitler mustache on the cartoon Morph, and
he's got the side part. I think is the real problem.
Yeah.
Until he comes back all fucking junky looking.
Spoilers. For a TV show that's 20 years old.
Oh, my heart. It hurts. Why you must remind me? I'm old.
Marvel Heroes. They've also had my new addiction, which is crates.
Yeah. Yeah, you've spent for what is for you an absurd amount of money.
Being presently self-employed again.
You have spent for you what is an absurd amount of keshish on fucking crates.
Well, okay, like I've only got one crate that I opened up and went, oh. And I got like a skin for someone I never want to own, and I don't care for the skin. And I only got like one boost. And it was like a credits boost. And I was like, come on, man. What the fuck? But every other crate I've owned, and I've opened a bunch of them. I've gotten like 3 or 4 characters who I didn't own, and like I planned on owning, and I'm really happy about it. I got like fucking Moon Knight and Silver Surfer, Deadpool, who's expensive, and I got him for less than $5. Somebody else, I've completely forgotten. Iron Fist. I was so psyched when I got Iron Fist. I got a cool skin for someone, don't recall. I did get I found out about how you can exchange skins. When you level up your crafter, that is like Forge or Hank Pym.
The crafter, not the enchanter.
Yeah, not the enchanter. When you level them up to 20, which is a max level, you can trade in 3 skins for a new skin. It's random. But like when you buy a skin for your characters and you put it on them, you get the old one. Costumes, they call them in the game. I'm used to playing League.
So, like, normally you just give that to a crafter, throw it away or whatever.
Yeah. But here you can take 3 of those. Like I had, and I don't know why I was keeping them, just like, I don't know, maybe I'll put them on again. But like I had Wolverine and Daredevil and all kinds of guys, and I was like, fuck. I ended up with Elektra's release skin, which is really good looking.
Oh, the one from Daredevil, the show?
Daredevil, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, keeping that. I don't
need
know
to watch
Elektra.
that, by the way.
I do. You know, that might be my next mission. Once I'm done reliving Daria. But yeah, and like it really gently introduced me to legendary quests, which I hadn't gotten into yet, because there's a lot of stuff in a game like that that's intimidating. I'm not the kind of guy who just dives in head first and tries to do it all. That's very overwhelming for me. I'll take it step by step.
I don't find legendary quests that fun. I mean, they get you the good legendary orange experience, but it's just not worth it for the investment of having to go to a thing and do this stuff and so on and so forth. It's a lot of rigmarole and hassle for me.
It would be nice if, like, when you were in a party, they guaranteed you got the same legendary quest.
That would make it a lot more fun. Yeah.
And I like that you can re-roll it for credits because, I mean, there's really not much you do for credits.
Like, there's not a lot of stuff to spend credits on in that game.
Well, I mean, there is, but they're kind of a sauce that you add to other costs that you don't even notice because you have a million of them.
I actually have a couple million, yeah.
I think I do too. But yeah, you can re-roll them and you get different ones. I don't like the ones that are in story mode because that's just a lot of running around and hoping for the best. They take the longest. They're the least fun. I like going into terminals. I like doing a few rounds in the, the challenge maps, the Midtown Patrol and the Industry City Patrol. But they're fun. I mean, they have a use. They're a really great way to grind up experience if you've already done the story.
Whereas for me, it's just, I usually just go to, like, Industry City Patrol because it's quicker. It gives chests that give more experience unless you're, like, doing Midtown Madness Mondays, which we're missing right now for you, listener. But I usually just go there and grind up through there because it's fun and it's a good way to pass time until I hit about 45. Then I just go hit 60 by doing the last few chapters of the story, which simultaneously give you way more experience than the rest of the story and are super way better designed.
Yeah.
Look, the first couple of chapters of that story mode are not well designed. They're very confusing. There's a lot of running through very large maps that have very little in them, and there's not a lot to do in them, and a lot of side quests, a lot of really time-consuming, really annoying side quests.
That you don't even realize are side quests until you get to the end and go, oh, what a paltry reward.
So, I've had that exact emotion.
Thank you for this single Odin mark. I fucking will put it with the rest!
So it's not, it's super annoying, and once you hit, it's the chapter right after the one where you fight Mr. Sinister. I forget where that is, but like I think it's when you. Is that the one where you?
I think that's MODOK.
Yeah, MODOK. No. MODOK is way later. It's the one where you go to Mutant Town and start fighting the Purifiers, I think.
No, Sinister's after that.
Sinister is after that, isn't it?
Juggernaut's the guy you fight there. That's usually where I start when.
Yeah, it's whatever level is appropriate. It's whatever thing is appropriate for when you're level 45 specifically.
You can do it a little lower, honestly, but
You get more experience if you're appropriate level.
Yeah.
So once you hit about level 45 to 60, much better designed. I don't know if it was designed separately or what the deal is, but just there's a lot fewer inane ass side quests. It's a lot smoother. All the objectives are a lot clearer. It's honestly more interesting than the first couple chapters.
Well, and like you and I kind of bounce through it. It's like, okay, go here, get the quest, go fight the Juggernaut directly. Go here, get the quest, get your reward, go fight.
Motherfucker, we bounced through it because I did it the slow way, and now I just take you through the highlights.
Yeah, well, and I can do it on my own now, which is part of how I got Rogue to 60 from like 34 today. That and pure dedication and a bunch of boosts that I happened to get from opening crates. But I dig it. I mean, the story of that game is interesting, don't get me wrong. I think it caps off really interestingly. And I like Marvel, but like the stories in these games are never that good compared to the comics or the movies. There's no time for it to be intimate, and especially if you're not playing one of the 7 characters in the cutscenes, it feels very...
It's a different 7 for each cutscene.
Well, it's like they have a pool to draw from. Usually about 4 that get highlighted, but unless it's a big, long cutscene. But if you're not playing one of those characters, or worse yet, you're playing one of the bad guy characters, there's this dissonance where you're like, I'm not here. These people don't care about me. Luke Cage didn't help me fight Magneto. Luke Cage, shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Some of the bad guy characters are very amusing because they quip about it.
Afterwards, sure.
Like Loki. Loki is a smug prick the entire story mode. He says things like, oh yeah, I remember this part. Oh, I wonder if this is the time I get to keep the damn... I forget.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I don't know. It's good for what it is, but it's not more than what it is. I see a lot of people online praising the story mode, and I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that.
It's a good comic story.
Sure. And honestly, I would have liked the entire story mode if there weren't hubs. Like, when we played... Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the consoles.
Oh, I fucking miss Marvel Ultimate Alliance, man. That game was fun.
Well, that's what this is.
But, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a certain element that's different now. I think a lot of what we got out of Marvel Ultimate Alliance will return once we start doing, like, danger rooms and shit like that. And fucking... I dropped into one of the raids, and the amount of mobs in there is obscene. Delightfully obscene. So I think we might get some of that old spark back once we start doing some of the endgame content, but it's more like Diablo. So.
And I like Diablo, but it's not even... Marvel Heroes is fun because the heroes are fun to use.
Yes. 110,000%. And that was a big thing that really got under my skin with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 more than the first one. I mean, first of all, the story wasn't as good as the first one. It didn't feel as organic as the first one.
It did Civil War, I think, for part of it.
It was Civil War. And then...
Like, for part of it, though. And then it became a different storyline.
Yeah, it's just the last couple of missions that were like Nick Fury was behind it the whole time. Spoilers.
Maybe. I don't remember if those spoilers are even correct.
No, yeah, it was... I don't even know if it was actually Nick Fury. It was like a robot Nick Fury, maybe.
Skrull Nick Fury, probably.
No, I think he was a robot. Because I think, like, he was a secret character you could unlock, and he had all kinds of crazy robot shit.
Moving on.
Yeah. But yeah, when we picked that game up, like, there was so much less customization, and it wasn't like the roster ballooned. Fucking first Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, we had so much fun.
I spent the entire game playing Zorn.
Yeah.
Specifically the Zorn skin for Magneto. I played almost all of that game as fucking Zorn. It was great.
And you could customize your powers just like Marvel Heroes, but in 2, like, everything was set. Like, I was excited to play Spidey because you only had so many guys in the beginning. And, no. He had, like, 4 powers, and they all kind of sucked. And you couldn't change them.
And Marvel Heroes is better in that respect because all the heroes have a bunch of fucking powers. Like,
some of them, too many.
Yeah, some of them, too many good ones. It's hard to pick. And you kind of have to pick because you don't have enough points for all of them. And you gotta, like, it's hard. There's so much stuff.
Well, I was leveling Gambit with you, and I got to a certain point where I realized you kind of are best off either picking ranged or melee Gambit. The problem is I like them both. So I have not played Gambit since because I can't decide.
I had a guy who was very much like Scarlet Witch. Black Widow. I do that all the time. Fucking Scarlett Johansson. Black Widow.
Scarlet Widow. Black Johansson.
Black Johansson.
Black Johansson sounds like a 70s action film.
Yeah, it does.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I'm Black Johansson.
Black Johansson. Put your hands in the air, turkey.
But, Black Widow. She has a bunch of really cool, like, melee puncherate powers, and then a bunch of cool AoE explode powers and ranged powers. And they don't mix well.
Yeah.
You kind of have to pick. I picked ranged.
I feel like that's a good choice on that character. As little of her left in it.
It's super fun.
And
even then, I had to, like, pare down the ranged powers I was using, because I was using too many.
Then there's the opposite situation, like me and Wolverine. Wolverine's got just as many powers as everybody else. And I'm just like, or I could right-click and just stab a motherfucker.
Me and Hawkeye.
Just run around and go, stabby, stab, stab. Yeah, but Hawkeye has, like, shit you dump points into. My Wolverine is sitting around, like, Bub, I have a bunch of points. You want to make me better at stuff, Bub? I am the best in the world at what I do. Goddamn right you are, Wolverine, and that is right-click. Get him. He's got, like, a buff thing that I use, and, like, an AoE that I use if there's a lot of guys on me. Otherwise, it's just...
For me and Loki, more than anything. Because Loki's... He's mana-intensive early game, but if you do the Loki I do, which is Clone Loki, Best Loki, it comes a point in the game where I'm going to have to respec just to get a power that uses my mana, so that I can use my mana.
I feel you. I just switched away at level 60 from my rogue spec that I've been leveling with, which was a summoner spec. I had fucking Iceman's Ice Golems. I had Mole Man's Moloids. I had a passive that would occasionally spawn Grootlings.
You had Loki's clones.
I had Loki's clones on my dash. I had a passive that would spawn squirrels from Squirrel Girl. And I had Magic's demon guys.
How many dudes did you end up having all at once?
I also had a Mr. Sinister medal, which would occasionally summon an X-Man clone.
Right.
And then she's got a piece of gear that occasionally summons a either Gambit, Nightcrawler, or someone else, Colossus, I think. And
oh my god, you could have Colossus and Sinister Colossus at the same time?
I often did. And I had an artifact which would also occasionally summon squirrels. I had a lot of fucking guys. And I fucking wrecked. To the point where most of the time, all I would do is hit right-click, which was Cyclops' I-beams. Because that's the only ranged basic attacks you can get. And it, like, ricochets and bounces off of shit, so it's lots of great damage. And then occasionally I would use her signature power, which is huge fuck-off AoE that lasts, like, forever. But I switched because I was really bored. Like, they never fucking died. My Moloids would despawn on occasion.
But you always had a squad of like 12 dudes?
Yeah, I had like fucking 50 dudes following me around. I wouldn't realize when I cleared the screen because I had like a dozen motherfuckers sitting on my nuts. They're like, "We did your bidding, master, what now?"
That really makes me want Rogue because that sounds super fucking fun.
Dude, she's 600 and that's the biggest hurdle. I was like, you were buying like a bunch of heroes. You were like, "This is great." You bought a bunch of 200s and I'm like, "I want the heroes." But I was clinging onto my eternity splitters. And these fucking crates came out, and I was like, suddenly I'm flush. I can't hold all these heroes.
I want Rogue because I want to do that. I want to get all the powers.
It's fun. You'd
because
love it.
I like the only in Diablo 2, the Necromancer that I enjoyed playing when I would occasionally play Necromancer is fucking spawn a bunch of billions of skeletons and send them to do my bidding.
Oh, dude, it is like if you like that kind of semi-passive gameplay where you kind of just have to be in a place. Oh, and Loki's clones. I forgot about Loki's clones.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, every time I dashed, I think you could have up to 3. You just kind of have to sit there and watch him fuck shit up.
Yep.
Sometimes I would, like, leave an area where I had been fucking shit up and notice, like, a bunch of experience orbs and gear lying around where I was not because some of my fucking gremlins had gone off screen to kill things. And I'm like, well, thanks, y'all, but I don't have room in my inventory for this.
Master will be pleased.
I mean, it was destructive. I noticed a significant power drop when I switched away from it. And not just because I had to change my gear over. I actually had a suitable amount of other gear sitting around that I added on to. Now I've got her playing like an AoE damage tank, which is fun. It's not as satisfyingly destructive, but I'm pushing the buttons now. But a bunch of powers I have to get from the Hell raid. Again, there's like a P in there that I don't know how to pronounce. I heard an NPC say it, I heard the boy say it, and the Hell raid. And but I need
Surtur's house. He has to go to
Surtur's house. I need a couple of demons.
It's not a
from
Hell
there.
raid.
Well,
You're not going to Hell's house. That's a different place.
Well, no. It's not even actual hell, because that's where Mephisto is.
Yeah, in the Marvel Universe, there's hell.
Double hell.
There's double
Scary
hell.
Town.
Scary Town. And the Dark Bad.
And the Dark Bad. I was in the Dark Bad.
You were in Surtur's house. You were in Fireburg.
I suppose the Dark Bad would be Svartalfheim.
Yeah, Svartalfheim. Svartalfheim is the Dark Bad. That's where the Dark Elves live. Then you have Helheim, which is where Hell lives. Oddly enough, it was named that before she in the lore. I think it was named that before she got there. Which I mean, you can't have been surprised.
Helheim. I guess I'll live here. It's like no. I see. I wouldn't do that. Like if I walked across.
Oh, she's not there by choice. Is the thing.
Well, true. That's kind of suspicious. Like, what's this plane? Helheim. That sounds kind of weird. No, it's coincidence. It means something else. No, I speak our language. I'm pretty sure it means Hell's house. To Helheim with you.
Oh, the two nerds vastly get Norse mythology super wrong.
Whatever. It's like that interview with Stan Lee we watched where he was like, "My brother came up with Mjolnir. Kooky name. Just pulled it out of the air."
No, he didn't.
Fuck you, I'm Stan Lee. I can say what I want.
I was in Deadpool and I got to saw boobs.
He attests the reason the most recent Fantastic Four movie didn't do well is because he wasn't in it.
I believe it. It could be cursed. Like he was in the first ones and they did well.
Yeah.
He played the Bannerman.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's in Marvel Heroes. In Avengers Tower, there's a Agent Lee you can right-click on, and he says shit like, Excelsior! He sadly does not tell rambling old man stories.
Which are the best!
We could fill a podcast on my Stan Lee impersonation, because while the voice might not be super accurate, oh god, can I tell a rambling Stan Lee story?
He was also in Civil War.
Yeah, he was.
Giving us the best Roonil Waslib level delicious nickname. Fucking classic Roonil.
Classic Roonil. Oh fuck. I'm reeling. But yeah, there was a big weekly overquest you could do. I'm sure it's going to repeat next week, where I had to kill a certain number of villains and do a certain number of legendary quests, and the reward for that was not as good as I had hoped. But once you level your faction reputation up to 5, 4, whatever the max level is, you get a little title. So now I have anti-registration to select from my title options. I wear it proudly.
Because we all know, mages should be free.
I'm not getting into that on the Civil War podcast. I promise a certain amount of content to the viewer, and I feel we've already kind of reneged on that a bit. So,
normally I would try and think of something else that we could talk about that is related to this or some other topic to bring up, but we hit our time, and I want to go play Marvel Heroes.
Yeah, I would love to sit here and talk about comic books all day.
We legitimately could, though.
Oh yeah, and I've been in such a comic book shit mood, and I've come to travel with me down this road, listener. I've come to understand so much about myself and about how I grew up and why comics have the impact on me they have, and why certain characters do, and what I love and what I don't love. Really understand it on a deep level. I am capable of going fucking ad nauseum about comic books right now. And Civil War and Marvel Heroes and watching old episodes of X-Men have certainly helped scratch the itch. But I'm sure you guys would also like to go play Marvel Heroes. You can sign up. It is free to play. But much like League of Legends, that's a lie. Because you gonna pay what you owe.
And I think on that note, everything's better when nerds talk about it.